Well, that campaign back in 20 led by Jen O'Malley Dillon and a great team and, Joe Biden, unusual campaign, obviously won the presidency. So when a team wins the presidency, I think generally I give them the benefit of the doubt, whether it's Republican or Democrat, that they know how to get the 270. I think where the race stands today, I think this is a very tricky race to poll. We've got a huge, unusually large percentage of voters saying they could switch their mind, getting a healthy share of the vote, at least in some states. We've got two candidates who are underwater in terms of approval rating. This election will probably be determined by people who have a negative view of both candidates and have to make a decision. I think this race right now, is really a jump ball. I think in a lot of polls, Trump has a narrow lead, and some of them Biden does. But at the end of the day, I look at what's true. What's true is Biden's actually holding on to his support amongst white voters in battleground states. And in fact, there's some evidence that he's grown stronger with seniors over 65 white voters, as well as some college educated women. And, he had pretty high ceilings for Democrat back in 20. So that's good news. Trump, at least in polls, is showing some strength with some younger non-college educated voters of color. And so I think the Biden campaign knows this. They obviously want to maximize their support amongst the entire electorate, but you want to minimize that leakage with Hispanic voters and Black voters. And one way you do that is obviously minimize the leakage. The other way you do it is to increase your vote share amongst white voters. And the economy is the big issue. And that's the one thing, Michael, voters make their own judgment on the economy. They don't do it based on statistics. And so if voters are feeling worse than they are today, when ballots start being cast in October, that's going to make it more difficult for the president. If they're feeling a little bit better, that could be a tailwind. So they seem like they're doing a lot of smart digital things. I mean, this election, with all due respect to the Washington Post, MSNBC, and NBC, where I'm a contributor, this really is a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook first election. That's where most voters are going to get their information. And so you have to craft a strategy in that way. Donald Trump, I think, used Facebook really well in 16. I think Joe Biden did and continues to do some innovative things in the digital space. But that's really, you have to wake up every day and not think about the long speech you're going to give necessarily, or even the television ads you're going to run. Those are important, but secondary to, thinking visual first, video first in those social media feeds.